the girl found a magical watch on the beach. By turning its hands, she could reverse time. Her childhood became utterly perfect. The watch helped her undo countless regrets and missed opportunities. To sleep 5 extra minutes in the morning, she'd turn back time by hours. When she failed an exam, she'd rewind time to retake it. But using the watch came with a side effect. Each time she reversed time, her own aging accelerated. Thus, Keiko appeared far more mature than her peers. Her mother took her to the hospital, but no medical issues were found. To spare her parents' worry, Keiko hid the watch away. She resolved never to borrow its power again. As an adult, Keiko became a radio announcer. Her mother ran a hair salon at home, while her father worked as a taxi driver. The family lived a quiet, contented life. But a sudden traffic accident shattered everything. Keiko's father was hospitalized after the crash, and ultimately passed away despite medical efforts. Unable to accept this cruel reality, Keiko once again thought of the watch that could reverse time. After years had passed, she turned the watch's hands once more. When she awoke, Keiko truly found herself back before her father's death. She tried to stop him from leaving home, but it seemed she was a step too late. She chased after the taxi, shouting his name, but he didn't hear her. At an intersection, he collided with a large truck. So Keiko turned the watch again, returning to the moment before the accident. But this time, she still couldn't stop him. She tried countless times, but failed each time. To save her father's life, she had no choice but to keep turning back time. This time, she noticed a bicycle by the roadside. She decided to ride it to catch up. Just as she was about to catch up, a car suddenly appeared at the intersection and knocked her to the ground. Ignoring the pain, Keiko kept trying. Only by dodging this car could she save her father's life. After countless attempts, Keiko finally managed to avoid it. She sprinted toward her father's taxi. At that moment, her father saw his daughter in the rearview mirror. He slowly eased off the gas pedal and slowed down. Keiko dashed forward and fell in front of the taxi. Startled, her father jerked the steering wheel hard, crashing into a wall before coming to a halt. Keiko had successfully altered history and saved her father's life. When she awoke again and found her father still alive, she recounted the events in a state of shock. But her entire family stared at her with strange expressions. Then, Keiko happened to glance at a nearby mirror. She discovered she had transformed into an elderly woman older than her mother. She knew this was the side effect of using the time reversal. 25-year-old Keiko had become a septuagenarian. This was unbearable for Keiko. She tried using the watch to return to the past once more. But this time, the watch seemed broken, showing no response. She went to a watch shop to ask if it could be repaired. The owner said this model had long been discontinued. Without replacement parts, repairing it was nearly impossible. She visited several other watch shops, but received the same answer each time. Returning home, Keiko locked herself in her room. She didn't know how to face the life ahead. Her parents' faces showed only helplessness and sorrow. Keiko didn't want to be a burden to them. In the days that followed, Keiko began striving to adapt to this elderly body. She started cooking meals for her family on her own initiative, and helped out at her mother's hair salon. But as she aged, Keiko developed presbyopia. Her father decided to take her to get glasses. Seeing the worry on his face, Keiko confided her true feelings to him.
아빠 내가 낯설지. 나도 내가 낯설어. 아침에 거울 볼 때마다 깜짝깜짝 놀라고. 이렇게 될 줄 알았으면 아빠한테도 잘알고. 근데 받아들이기로 했어.
She said she had found the most precious thing. If given the same choice again, she would still choose without hesitation to save her father's life. To avoid burdening her parents, Keiko chose to move into a public nursing home. She quickly adapted to life there, and got along well with the other residents. One day, she discovered that the watch she had discarded was actually on an elderly man's wrist, and the watch had been repaired. Convinced that turning the watch could reverse time once more, she immediately decided to snatch it back. The old man screamed for help. The people around him also looked at them in surprise. Finally, the director arrived and pulled Keiko away. Everyone thought Keiko seemed mentally unstable. Soon after, the nursing home organized them to go on an outing to the beach. The elderly man who wore the watch looked at Keiko with a complex expression. He struggled to remove the watch and handed it to her, but he accidentally dropped it on the ground. Engraved on the back of the watch face were 2 English letters. They were the names of Keiko and her beloved husband June. In that instant, Keiko felt the world spinning. A long-buried memory began to surface before her eyes. In truth, Keiko hadn't aged from 25 to 75 overnight. All of this was merely a dream experienced by Keiko, who suffered from Alzheimer's disease. she mistook her son and daughter-in-law for her own parents. The memory of rescuing her father from a car accident was nothing more than a figment of her imagination. When Keiko claimed she had traveled through time to save her father, her family knew her condition had worsened again. But in order to prevent her from being stimulated, everyone had to cooperate with her. When Keiko awoke again, it was in a hospital bed. Her son and daughter-in-law were by her bedside.
어머니, 저 알아보시겠어요?
The watch she had imagined was real, but that watch couldn't turn back time. It was the token of love she had given her husband in her youth. They had once had a happy family. Her husband was a newspaper reporter, but he was arrested by the police for writing sensitive articles. In those days, any improper words could bring trouble upon oneself. Soon after, Keiko received news that her husband had died in prison. After his death, Keiko and her son relied on each other for survival. But a car accident added further misfortune to this already tragic family. The accident cost her son a leg. He could only live with a prosthetic limb. He had thought his mother would cherish him more. But Keiko became even stricter with him. She never helped him up when he fell. Even when neighbors offered assistance, Keiko would shout them away.
일어나. 혼자 일어나는 것도 못하면 앞으로 어떻게 살래? 일어나.
His childhood lacked his mother's care. All that remained were her repeated, cold, retreating figures. Even after Keiko developed Alzheimer's, he only visited her occasionally at the nursing home. But one day, the nursing home suddenly called to say Keiko was missing. He rushed to the facility to search for her. Finally, he found his mother shoveling snow on the back hill.
뭐 하시는 거예요 지금?
눈 쓸어요. 우리 아들이 다리가 불편해서 학교 가야 되는데 눈이 너무 미끄러워서.
Only then did he remember. When he was a child, every time it snowed, the snow in front of his house would be cleared away. He had always assumed it was a neighbor kindly helping out. Now it seemed his mother had been quietly clearing it herself. He felt ashamed for misunderstanding his mother. And the reason she had been so strict with him was only so he could grow up to live independently.
아들은 몰라요 그거.
몰라도 돼요. 우리 아들만 안 미끄러지면 돼요.
He took off his coat, draped it over his mother, and embraced her.
이제 그만 쓰셔도 돼요.
아니에요. 눈이 계속 오잖아요.
아드님 한 번도 안 넘어졌대요.
By now, Keiko had forgotten her son's face. Yet this unfamiliar man before her stirred a sense of familiarity. She instinctively wiped the tears from his cheeks. Soon the nurse took Keiko back. His wife arrived and asked why he was crying.
평생 내 앞에 눈을 쓸어준 게 엄마였어.
From that day on, he no longer harbored childhood resentment toward his mother. He decided to take his mother back to their childhood home, because it held beautiful memories for their family.